Really, I mean, is there anything off limits? Any time limit you got? Anything going on?
No, man. You go for it.
All right.
Beautiful.
I think we're gonna try to go like 45 minutes to an hour, and you just tell us whatever you want to tell us. We're here to know about what's been going on with you this year.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Yeah, we've there's lots to talk about.
I've seen, but let's I'm gonna give it like a minute, and then I'll get the intro and everything started here.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds good. Is the lighting okay for you guys over here? See me clearly, hear me clearly?
Oh yeah, perfect. You have a nice setup over there.
Yeah, this is not mine. I wish I could take credit for it, but it's, I'm house sitting for a week.
And, nice.
Yeah, my friends they're quite well-known singers over here and in good bands, and they've got an amazing setup, so I'm quite lucky.
Good to know people in high places.
Absolutely.
All right, let me just make sure I got all of our tweets and everything out.
Cool.
Instagram. That's up. It's on my Instagram too. I'm at it.
Let me know and I'll give it a share.
I reposted your post over on my personal Instagram.
Oh, sweet.
And then I already had it on our Heat Check page. So I think I'm good on my end. It's on my Snapchat. Let me retweet your tweet. All right.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Let's do this thing.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's make sure I got all my recording settings and everything good to go. Jesse, why are you already in the chat? Josiah, Jesse called you a bitch.
That's crazy. What did I do?
Jesse said it's a little early to be a bitch, Josiah. What do you do? What do he do to you, Jesse? Did he like buy
sounds like an Atlanta Hawks fan to me.
Going out there already. Dude, look, I'm a Lakers boy, and it looks like we're just hogging a cemetery at the moment. Like,
oh,
dude, like, come on, there's great young players in this league. What are we doing right now?
That's LeBron for you. He likes old guys.
He does, man. He does. He loves them.
He had a type.
He has a type.
Dude, that is so true. So true.
All right, let's get this thing started. What's going on, people of the internet? It's your boys, the Heat Check. We are back at it like a bad habit. If you want something, you got to go grab it. And we have a very special episode today. It's the return of Mr. Simon Hill.
Thank you so much, guys. So stoked to be here yet again. Round 2, man. And almost, not quite, but almost a year on from the first appearance. Love it. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we appreciate you being willing to come back on. We've been wanting to try to get this going for a couple months now, but just our schedules all haven't mixed until today. So I'm glad we could finally get something going here.
Yeah, perfect timing as well. Lots to talk about. So expect another cool episode with you guys. I really enjoy coming on. So yeah, man, looking forward to it.
Before we get started, I am one of your hosts, the Big Hoss, Austin Nolting. I am joined by my co-host, Big Shaq Daddy Diesel Cool, Josiah Howard.
What up, y'all?
And today's episode of the Heat Check is sponsored by Raise Energy. Head on over to repsports.com/product/Raise Energy and use that discount code HEATCHECK to get 15% off their new rainbow flavor based off of Skittles, the candy.
Oh, man. Beautiful.
It's pretty good.
300 milligrams caffeine, enough to power your day, power your workout, power the podcast. So we here. That's discount code HEATCHECK, repsports.com/product/Raise Energy. Let's get this thing started. Simon, how has 2021 been treating you?
Oh man, it's been a roller coaster for sure. But certainly one of the biggest changes in my life is physical well-being. Been posting my journey with that regular. It's been a transformation. It's been hard work, but There's been a lot going on. I spent a lot of time over living in a new country in Poland for 6 weeks or so, 5-6 weeks. And that was an experience. That changed my life for sure.
I was going to ask, I saw that you had moved over to Poland for that time period. What led to that?
So that was actually an incredible opportunity that I was approached to do by ESL, one of the leading esports organizations in the world. And I was fortunate enough to be approached to host a 4-week show that was run by Gamers Without Borders for a charity event, and it was incredible. And I was just surrounded by so many good people, and to get an opportunity like that, look, I've been fortunate enough to have so many amazing opportunities in my amazing career so far. But this was and is at this moment possibly the biggest one that I've ever had, and to have been offered that, to have been flown out to a beautiful country that I'd never visited before, to be put up and really looked after, and then to host these incredible shows with some of the most talented hosts in this business. I'm a very fortunate, very humble person to have been, given that opportunity.
Were you just hosting shows out there for them in Poland, or is that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was my first time working with ESL. It was a company that I've always wanted to work with. Obviously, being one of the biggest esports organizations in the world, I think it's everyone's dream as a host in that industry to jump on board with that. And they approached me with the whole concept and the idea, and I was sold straight away, not just because of who they were, but the shows themselves are based around a retro aspect. So we would be jumping on a new platform called PiePacker, which is a great free service where you can jump on and play a load of old retro titles. Earthworm Jim 2's on there and some of the old classics, that you can play. And we would get some of the world's biggest streamers on the show to compete in a tournament. And it was just so much fun. And, don't get me wrong, the nerves were certainly there, but, you soon feel comfortable when you're working with, real professionals.
Sure. Real quick, I just want to shout out Thank You Wrestling with Johners Pod for following the stream.
Johners. Good guy, Johners.
And Jesse in the chat wants you to know that you're very hot. He wants to know, are you from Essex?
I'm not from Essex, no. I used to live not far from Essex, but no. And then thank you very much for the kind words, Jesse.
So, how does an opportunity like that arise to you? Is it something that you actively go out and look for, or is it something that they're giving you calls, asking you to come?
Yeah, I mean, usually, look, I am a very active person within the business and industries that I work in and for. I'm always sending new showreel, new material. I'm always poking, prodding, and I'm one of those annoying talents that are always in your inbox because, you're not just looking for the next opportunity, the next job, but you're looking to showcase what you can offer and what you can do by connecting to new audiences. And this came to me, and I was shocked to receive the email, and I was so overwhelmed at the time. I remember calling my friend, and I was going, I don't know why, but I've just been offered an opportunity to go and live in Poland, essentially, for a short period and host this amazing show for one of the biggest companies in this business in the world. And my friends soon made me realize why they approached me, because they saw something in me that I had to offer their product. And I'm a firm believer. I'm never of the thought that you are too big to be chasing work. I think if you can put yourself out there to get additional opportunities and express yourself, showcase yourself. It always makes you a better person in what you want to do, but it also makes other people aware of who you are and what you've got to offer. So usually, yeah, absolutely. I'm incredibly active at searching and connecting with new people. I think networking is one of the most important tools that you can have, as a host, as a presenter, as a podcaster, whatever that may be. Networking is such an important part of media these days, especially with how powerful social media is.
I want to pick up where we left off in the last interview, because last time that we talked, we were still peak pandemic. COVID-19 is still going on to this day, but things are opening up more and more. And at the time, you said you didn't have a lot of jobs within the wrestling world lined up, within a lot of things lined up. When the pandemic started slowing down a little bit, walk me through those first couple of kind of getting back into the wrestling world, getting back into doing the jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was really ironic is this job in Poland came about as things were lifting in regards to COVID, and then I started getting bookings for shows, and getting back into the wrestling business is one of the most beautiful things I've seen. And I put a tweet out last night because I made my commentary debut for OPW, a brand new promotion launched in Morecambe, which is the north of England. And that experience was something special because it was like everyone is now back. We're here. British wrestling is back on the scene. The Morecambe scene is back in British wrestling. And it was a very humbling experience to be backstage with people people you've worked with, people you've interviewed. And just everyone is so happy, so positive, so energetic, and looking to, get out there and support everyone and support one another. So for me, getting back into wrestling has been such a beautiful experience. And, I've been fortunate enough again to debut for 2 new promotions in the space of a week. And there's not many people that have those opportunities. So I'm very lucky. But, my first one with LWF was last Saturday. And that again, walking out the curtain into a packed room full of lively fans who are happy to be back themselves. I mean, this is one thing that I think needs to be spoken about more, is the fans. They have wanted this just as much as the talent, and we appreciate every single fan that comes through that door. Each paying customer is there to see a show, to see and just feel that energy. And I think, the few shows that I've been lucky enough to do so far, we've delivered on that. And I can't talk enough about how positive the locker rooms are. We've all missed this for 16, 17 months. And being back last night was an absolute pleasure for me. And a new experience. Commentary is now on the resume for me. So that's a new one, because obviously, as you guys know, I'm more kind of well-versed and well-known in the British scene as an interviewer. And a ring announcer. So yeah, this was a new opportunity for me, and I really can't wait to do that a lot more, especially with OPW. There's a lot of new promotions opening and launching here in the UK. I definitely think OPW has a strong case to be one of the leading promotions in this country. Just on their first show, they sold out, and social media blew up for them, and I'm so happy that I got to be a part of that. And they gave me an entrance. I was like, I'm a commentator, but I was so happy that I just got myself and Kurt Johansson. We walked through that curtain and just got this loud pop, and oh man, there's no feeling like that. There is no feeling. You can never put that into words.
It's funny that you.
Oh, go ahead.
It's funny that you bring up like the pop, because with fans being back, and we see this on the mainstream level, like John Cena coming back a few weeks ago.
I popped for that.
I'm about to say he probably got the biggest pop I've seen him get outside of the 2008 Royal Rumble.
100%.
So And it's funny that, you're seeing your progression you're taking like that natural progression. All right, you're an interviewer, you're a ring announcer, and now you're a commentator. I feel like I've seen a lot of the main people take that route. And you say, oh, all right, now we got all these promotions coming up, and you think OVW could be crazy big in England. What do we need to do to keep this momentum, though? Because I feel like, and I can only really speak on the mainstream side of things, I feel like WWE especially is not really using the momentum well. How do you think people can capitalize on this momentum and be successful going forward, not just right now in the moment?
Invest in talent. For me, the British scene has some of the best young up-and-coming talent in wrestling, full stop. And last night was proof to me that exists, and that is very much a thing. And I think what it's important for promotions to do is identify that talent, give opportunity. You don't have to have a big name card to have a good show. You can still sell tickets on new talent if you back them and if you support them. And I think that is so important. And I also think, content is one of the driving forces of any medium these days. There are some great promotions over here. TNT Extreme Wrestling, one of them that I work with who are great at putting content out there, whether that be interviews, new shows. Obviously, they have the new show with Alicia Atu. They have mine with Barbed Wire, the recap show. And then you get, new promotions like OPW that are looking to capitalize on a similar market and do the same thing. And I think supplying regular content, keeping fans engaged, making them a part of your journey is so important. And I think that is the way that we as a scene should be looking to expand more. And, look, that's just going to put our name out there. It's going to make British wrestling one of the biggest scenes in the world again, like it was, 7 or 8 years ago.
Talk to me a little bit about the different preparations and whatnot that it takes with the different roles you've worked. I mean, you said, and we know you've been a backstage interviewer. We've seen you as a ring announcer. You just started as a commentator. Like, what's the difference in preparing for each of those roles?
Research. Lots and lots of research. So I guess for me, going in as an interviewer, that's my bread and butter. And I have, this set kind of way of looking at things and identifying what I need to do in each step to get the best out of that talent that I'm going to interview. So, for example, if I'm looking to get a promo out of Lizzie Evo, for example, who's an incredibly talented woman over here in the British wrestling scene, definitely one of the best we have, and she's just only going to get bigger and better. And you look at the promos that she delivers, and I look at that and go, right, okay, so how can I get the best out of this promo? And I find and identify what that is, and that's through research. It's through interaction with Lizzie herself and going, right, this is what we need for the story. This is how we want to get there. How do you think we can get there? And then we work together and collaborate. And when it comes to ring announcing, look, you need to get the right information out there. I've certainly been at shows where ring announcers have not done their research and got everything completely wrong. Look, I'm a big believer in whatever show you're a worker on, that you go around, you introduce yourself to everybody there. There may be talent that you're not familiar with, but they're your colleagues for the evening, and I think it's so important to build that relationship, because that's how you get the right information. It's how you get that synergy as well. And for example, commentary last night was a very different approach for me. And the first thing I thought is, right, I'll let these guys, discuss what they need to discuss. And then I'm going to go up to each one of them and say, right, how do you want me to get you over as a commentator in this match? What are you looking to get over? What's the story? How can I elevate that from a commentary level? And that preparation is very, very different from ring announcing. There are similarities, I guess, to interviews, but I think when you're delivering commentary, you're painting the picture of what is going on and building that story with the talent. And I think it's so important that you speak to the talent and just get the correct info on what they want over. What's the story here? How can we tell it? And that was new for me last night. And, I took it up on myself thinking that was the correct approach. And apparently it was. So it seems as though me winging it every single job I do is working for me right now.
Josiah, you got anything before we move on to the next topic?
Depending on what your next topic was going to be.
I was going to segue into the fitness world.
All right. So we're on the same page. Let's do it.
Simon, we've been seeing on your Instagram, especially, you have been grinding, or as The Rock would say, clanging and banging out in the gym.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about that. You're making amazing gains, a lot of progress. We've been seeing it.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate the kind words. Yeah, look, it's been a very hard journey. I got myself a coach, a nutritionist, James Lawrence, who's deserves all the credit in the world for this. He has, helped me transform not just my physical well-being, but mental as well, because everything he does is an overall package. So building those nutrition plans and helping identify things like rest and sleep and keeping those things controlled always gives you more energy to do more in the gym and benefit more. So when it's come to this whole plan, I'll be honest, my training back in the day before this plan this journey I went on, started in April, was very basic gym work. Look, I would do arms one day, legs the next, chest the day after. It was very stagnant, and my body, I think, was used to that. And now my workout and routine has totally changed. And that's where all the progress in my body has changed. I'm on a calorie deficit, which I thought would be a lot more difficult than I initially, was told. But that was the easy part for me. What was the difficult part was making sure within that 1,700 calories a day that I can take is I've got to get 150 grams of protein in there. So that was the most challenging part. And then getting in the gym, my workouts completely changed to how I was used to. And within the first 3 to 4 weeks, my body was telling me that this is really working. Like, this is doing something more than you've ever done. Look, I'm 34 now, and I'm in the best shape I've ever been in. I've never been so lean, but also so toned at the same time. And a lot of credit has to go to James Lawrence for that. He's really had my back, and any time I need him, any time of the day, he's there. He has a large number of clients who, can attest the same sort of words that I'm saying. He really does focus on what you need, not what he thinks is best. Do you know what I mean? So straight away, he will write everything out from the best proteins to go for, the lower calorie thing. It's so methodical, and that's really benefited in the training.
So, a couple things. So I train a lot. I train. Josiah.
I've noticed, dude. I've been checking out, man. I've been hooking you up on social media.
Appreciate that. But so a question I have is, you said your workouts change a lot, and the way that we do things with our program, not really a program, but how I train me and how I train Josiah, is we're kind of on that basic hit arms one day, hit legs one day, hit back, hit chest. So how has your workouts changed in that sense, where it's not just the basic layout? What are you doing differently?
So what they call push-pull, legs upper lower. So as you can imagine, Monday will be push day. So within that, the exercises I'll be working every muscle group within that day. But there will be 2 exercises for chest, 1 for arms, 1 for. Do you know what I mean? But they will all be a push. Action. Whereas pull is obviously pull. And those are the things, because I never thought of it in the way that I do now, is when you're working just chest, you will get your first 2 to 3 sets of 10 reps each, and by your muscles are tired, so it gets a lot harder. Whereas if you're working multiple at a time, multiple muscles are working at once. And I think that's been the huge difference, not just from the nutrition side, which obviously, as we all know, abs are built in the kitchen, not the gym. But it's just so important that nutrition is. You can lift all you want, if you're not eating right, it's not going to have much of an effect. But the whole training regime has been totally different. It's been eye-opening as well. And I put a selfie up today of the transformation, and it overwhelms me. It shocks me, because if I went back a year, I mean, if we check the interview out from a year ago, I guess I was looking very, very different back then. Very different. So I'm in a really good place, mentally and physically. Physically, the best I've ever been in, and I don't intend to stop here. You don't come this far to only come this far. Do you know what I mean? So There's still work to be done, and I'm looking forward to that next kind of 3 months of the training and see where that leads.
I like how you keep bringing up the mental part too, because our trainer, Willie, we've had him on the show a couple times, but he really stresses the importance of getting your mental right before you even get into the gym, before you even get the exercise started. Because if you're going at it like, I can't do this, then you're not going to do it. You can't do it.
100%. Couldn't agree more. And what I find with the gym for me is the gym is the outlet for any mental stress or, anxiety or whatever it may be that you're going through. Because the focus is purely on what you're doing, right? So it's not just a physical outlet, it's a mental outlet as well. And it absolutely has changed my mental well-being. Since April, what I've been doing with James has changed my life, again, not just for physical, but for the whole package.
Yeah, I love that. And especially because, me and Austin actually were fueled by breakups to get through it in the gym. And like you were saying, with what you're going through, man, the gym's changed my life in that way, where, I think that process was a lot easier to go through because I was kicking ass in the gym for 6 days a week. And, like you said, it's a great outlet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's really important for that. And guys, I won't say much more than this, but I absolutely sympathize with both of you in a similar regard there. So yeah, absolutely. And I think, me being in that best shape of my life and mental well-being right now is what is keeping me going, keeping me fueled. I'm surrounded by incredible people. 2 people whose house I'm in right now are 2 of the most amazing human beings I could ever wish to have surrounded, by, who constantly support me, are always there if I need anything. And look, I'm gonna do this once, and it is being recorded. They'll be able to hear this, but look, they're incredible musicians as well. Blue Nation, incredible band. You want to check them out, and Mimi Detroit. If you love a kind of a Blondie-esque, with a rocky edge, definitely check Mimi Detroit out as well. 2 incredible people.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Your physical and mental transformation is awe-inspiring. I know last time we were on here, you did tell us that you were going through some things mentally, and it's great to see that you're on a better mental wave. And the fact that you're at the best shape of your life at 35 or 34, sorry.
You're adding a year onto me there, dude.
Sorry,
adding a year onto me.
But I'm about to be 24, and Josiah is 24 right now as well. And I've lost 110 pounds, and I'm still trying to work towards a certain weight goal. So the fact
Congratulations, man.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But the fact that like at 34, you don't look a day over 21 with the shape you're in right now. So
thank you, bro. Appreciate that a lot.
Moving along a little bit, I want to segue back to let's talk about your podcast. Keep it locked.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
you've had some super dope guests on in 2021 alone. I mean, just going through the list of some of the people here that you've talked to in the last year. We got Joe Hendry, James Ellsworth. You got one PCO, former ROH World Champion. Ace Austin, former Impact X Division champion. Mike Bennett. You got him right after he left WWE. Colt Cabana. Rosemary. That's a huge list. Josh Alexander, one of the fastest rising names in Impact Wrestling right now.
Absolutely.
Tell us, in the last year since we talked to you, what are some of your favorite moments from the podcast?
Oh man, we could be here for a long time. Look, I am very privileged to have the reach and listenership that I do with this podcast. It exploded way more than I ever thought it would, because just like yourself, guys, look, people don't see the non-glamorous side of this. You've got lights stacked up with a pillowcase, dimming the light down a little bit. We've got the laptop on top of stands and wires, cables everywhere. But what they see is the deliverance and good, solid interviews. And we spoke about this last time. So for me, having all those incredible names on, people like La Rebellion as well, who've just exploded on NWA, one of the hottest tag teams in wrestling right now. And two of my very good friends. And Josh Alexander, do you know what? We have such a cool relationship whenever we talk, and he is just such a relaxing guy. And whenever you ask him a question, he'll run with it and tell the best stories. But I don't know, highlights. What are the highlights? There's so many, I'm, again, fortunate to have all these incredible guests that are more than happy to tell these great stories. I mean, Colt Cabana was a lot of fun. We all know what he can be like. He's a comedian. He's a very big personality with a strong concept and an idealist on what he believes is the right way of doing things. And I think he's a very, very talented guy. And we had him on, and I remember before we went live, just like yourself, you ask every talent, is there anything off limits? Obviously, he said CM Punk, which, to be honest, I didn't even write a question for, because I feel like that question's been done to death. You can find that any Colt Cabana interview if you really want to. So my approach when it comes to these interviews is, how can I make it different? How can I make it engaging? Because if I want to know where Josh Alexander wrestled, I can Google it. Do you know what I mean? So I think getting the fun stories, doing that research, and, Alicia Atout is one of those who inspires people like myself. She is one of the best out there because her research is like no other, and she gets to those really nitty gritty fun stories. And I think that is so important. It's what is also missed with a lot of the new podcasters that are coming on the scene, is that they think, generic questions are the way to go. And that's why I enjoy coming on here with you guys, because it's never generic. It's just fun. We have a good time, and you guys, you're always killing it, and you're always getting those fun stories out. So, huge testament to you guys for putting that work in. And, I think it's the relationships with the talent that's the highlight. I haven't had one experience where it's been difficult, or it's been a challenge, or it's been hard to get a story out, because I think the way that I do things it helps the talent feel comfortable, and then having that relationship. I remember I interviewed Hyan, right, who an incredible talent, recently exploding onto ROH, I believe, and she with the women's division there. And we spoke after that interview for about 40 minutes, just nerding out, completely nerding out about Cobra Kai, like video games, wrestling, like everything. We just spoke and chatted for like 40 minutes. And that's the stuff I love. Josh Alexander was the same. We chatted for a good 20, 25 minutes afterwards. And, he's got a lot going on over there, and I absolutely love what he did. And I remember that he said, and I didn't even prompt this. And before we ended the interview, he was like, when I win the world championship, I'm going to come back on your show. And I was just like, man, what a way to end it, and being good friends with Mecha Wolf and Bestia 666, La Rebellion are And I'm not just saying this because they are my friends, but they are one of the best tag teams in the world right now. And they are one of the hottest talents to be in NWA. It's only a matter of time before, those big contracts are on the table. So to have those guys share stories with you so comfortably on air, because, I have a lot of them told off air for obvious reasons. But yeah, those guys giving me that platform to do that and telling some really insightful, fascinating stories is definitely another highlight for sure.
It's funny because when I saw them debut in Ring of Honor, or sorry, NWA a couple, I think it was like 2 months ago, right? 2 months ago they made their debut. I knew that they had a relationship with you, so I thought about you, and that's when we reached out to have you back on the show. I was like, oh, let's talk to Simon again. So
I appreciate that, man.
But
thank you, dude.
You also mentioned, I'm going to bring it up now, the current landscape of professional wrestling. You mentioned the name CM Punk. I know we talked a lot about the independent wrestling scene a few minutes ago. What are your thoughts on the current landscape of mainstream professional wrestling? Because we have not officially confirmed yet, but it has been rumored that Bryan Danielson and CM Punk are on their way to All Elite Wrestling. WWE has been going through a lot of releases. I've ranted about it already, so I'm not going to say anything mean about them anymore. But what's your thought on the landscape of mainstream professional wrestling?
I think we are spoilt for choice with mainstream wrestling right now. You look at some of the incredible promotions. Yes, WWE is certainly going through some internal changes right now, and they are certainly, looking to define the next era, whatever that may be, of WWE. For me, AEW is exploding and an incredible product, a fun product, an engaging product to watch. And every time you watch an AEW show, you just know what you're going to get. You're going to get quality, and you're going to get talent that are just, they're happy to be there. It seems like such a positive environment. And, if the rumors are true and CM Punk and Bryan Danielson do go there, that is huge. The only worry I have for AEW, it does seem a little bit like they're hogging talent and stashing talent right now. It seems as though, the checkbook's open for anyone and everyone. So my concern is who is going to suffer for all of this new talent coming into All Elite Wrestling. Because, we as talent, we want to see everyone get their shot, right? We want to see everyone get a match and get on a card, and I think that's so important to make sure that you're not overshadowing or taking spots away from somebody who could potentially be your next big star. It's great to have all these nostalgia moments such as CM Punk, and look, I would have loved to have seen CM Punk come back and do another mini feud with Cena. We know the history of those guys is probably one of the biggest feuds ever in WWE, especially with the shoot promos that went on at that time. But, look, I think you look at Ring of Honor right now and, what Maria Kanellis is doing there for the women's division in Ring of Honor, Women of Honor. And it's amazing. I absolutely love that concept of going, we don't need all the big names in the world. Let's look at some of the future stars that everyone's talking about. Roxy, Hyan, all these amazing talent that they're getting into, Max the Impaler. And it's just so good to see these people getting the opportunities they deserve. I'm hoping to get Maria on in the future. I have requested it and spoke to Mike as well about it. So hopefully that will happen pretty soon. And Impact, I mean, those guys, for me personally, are the promotion with the most growth over the pandemic. You look at the talent pool they have now, and what Impact have done really well is back the younger guys, back the underdogs. I mean, we mentioned it already. Look at Josh Alexander. He's been waiting for this opportunity for so long.
That Iron Man match with him and TJP a few weeks ago.
Oh, man. Explosive. And, him and TJP work so well together. Like, clearly they they're very familiar with the way that each other works, and it's just so good to see. And for me, you look at places like Impact backing Josh Alexander. Ace Austin is still 24.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that guy is a freak of nature. Like, your human body shouldn't be doing half the things that man does. He's a future star wherever he goes. And then you look at TJP, who's still young, and he's putting on some of the greatest matches of his career. The women's division, the knockouts division, for me, arguably the best women's division in wrestling right now.
I agree.
The talent is endless. You can put the list of all the women on a wall, and you cannot say one is not as good as the other.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at that list and go, every single one of those could be a knockouts champion. Deonna Purrazzo, you look at the guys that didn't do so well, for example, at WWE,
Mm-hmm.
and look what they're doing now at other promotions. Look at Deonna Purrazzo. She has become a star overnight, and it's not just because of the way she looks, but how she wrestles. She's so good. She's the full package, and again, she will be a star for years to come. Again, I think she's still only 27, maybe 26, 27.
I think she's 27.
Yeah. So she has still got another 10 years at least in her.
I'm hyped for her and Melina at the NWA show. That
is going to be explosive, dude.
Sure.
So good. And then you have the underdogs, MLW. They've been coming through. They've been looking good, been doing new stuff. Again, looking at that talent pool and picking from the indies who they can help get over. I mean, the Von Erich brothers are phenomenal. Again, I've been fortunate enough to interview both of those guys. That, in fact, is still one of the highlights. Even though we spoke about that on the last episode, that is probably one of the biggest highlights of my podcast. Those guys invited me over to Hawaii to learn surfing with them. But yeah, you look at those, and again, I think those guys could be tag champs at any promotion. And they have people like Sefa Fatu and the other Uso brother, just looking strong, powerful. There's new blood there. There's new talent that are getting opportunities, and I think that's what's beautiful about AEW Dark as well. They created this new product during the pandemic and went, all right, let's pick the best of the indies against the best that we've got, and the only people that benefited from that were the indie guys, because they were able to get themselves seen and noticed. And look at Eddie Kingston. He got a big contract out of it. And, I remember my favorite interview ever, backstage gimmick interview, was with Eddie Kingston. And I'm someone that likes to plan, and I remember before we went live with this interview, I said, right, shall we put this over? Obviously, this happened in the match. He was like, no, let me roll with it. Ask me the question, just let me roll. I was like, okay. And I did, and I had to really zone in to keep it together, because he started crying live, and we're going with this promo that he's cutting, how happy, how passionate he is, how much it meant to him in that match that he had. And I still remember every word he said to this day. He gave us a shout out to his LAX boys, of course, and it was just a beautiful scene. And then, lo and behold, 8 months later, he's getting signed to AEW, and I couldn't have been happier. It was a beautiful moment.
I agree with a lot that you said there. MLW is so good. You got Von Erichs, Fatu, Alexander Hammerstone. Impact being the biggest growth of the pandemic, I totally agree. They remind me, 2021 Impact Wrestling reminds me a lot of like 2017 Ring of Honor, where they have their homegrown talent, but they also have the partnerships with AEW and New Japan and AAA. They already announced that all those companies are working with them on Bound for Glory coming up. But dude, I'm in total agreement with I love when people look at mainstream wrestling and they don't just bring up WWE and AEW. Because
Yeah.
there's so much more out there. MLW, they're basically a mix of MLW from pre-pandemic plus Lucha Underground now.
Yeah, 100%.
AEW Dark is a great show. I can't agree more with all the things you said there.
Yeah, I think with AEW Dark, I tuned in every week. Obviously it's so accessible being on YouTube, but it was just one of those things like, who can I see new now that I don't know about? And that's why I tuned in, because I was seeing talent I never heard of before. And I'm pretty well researched when it comes to the indies, especially working in it, so prominently. But there were absolutely, Maddie Rankowski I never heard of until AEW Dark. Watched her, she's incredible. She carries herself so well. You look at, Ray Lynn and people like that, and, Miranda Alizé, who had a stint in Ring of Honor as well. She's another one that I've tried to get on. So Miranda Alizé is Mecha Wolf's non-blood sister, basically. And Miranda was in Mecha Wolf's home the one day, took a photo, and I texted him straight away. I was like, ask her to be on the podcast. Like she keeps ignoring my emails. So he voice noted me, and I can't repeat what he said, but it was basically, she's not a fan of interviews, so she didn't want to come on. But to pass on the hellos and highs and stuff. Mecha Wolf's very witty, and we've obviously got this kind of brotherly relationship. So he's kind of ripping me in the process. He's been another one, throughout the tough times for me that has really been there. Really kicking my ass if I'm having a down day and, making me realize what I've got and how many people would kill to be in my position. And to have someone like that fight your corner every week, it's a special, humbling experience for sure.
Josiah?
I mean, you asked all the right things on this topic.
All right, let's move on to one final, a little more fun topic here. Before we went on air, and last time we talked about it a little bit too. You are a Los Angeles Lakers fan, and we have a Celtics and Heat fan on here with you right now. Let's talk about thoughts on the NBA offseason. NBA Finals just happened. What are your thoughts going into this coming up NBA season?
I think it's going to be very interesting. I mean, look, there's been growth there, I guess, for Celtics and for Heat. You guys are, in for an interesting season. Celtics especially, I think. Look, I love my boys. I've stuck with them throughout the good and the bad times, but it seems like, we're filling up the retirement home at the moment. Look, I'm glad we've got people like LeBron and Carmelo Anthony, and obviously Anthony Davis. But we've just signed Thompson as well, I believe. So it's just, look, I think we're going to have a good season, but will we have the legs by the end of it? There's plenty of great young talent out there that I think we could be, utilizing or looking at. But it's going to be an interesting season. I mean, I'm interested to see where you think the Heat are going to go this year. Gone through quite a few changes yourself over there.
We've had our arguments on the show here.
I'll just say I think the Heat are going to be super mid, super average.
I have them as a solid 4-5 seed this year with a second round exit.
4-5? Wow, okay. That'll be interesting. Look, I think you guys are going to struggle. I'm not going to lie.
I don't think Kyle Lowry saves the world, personally. I don't know. I think Victor Oladipo was like the one move where I was like, all right, you got him on a vet minimum. Okay.
I love Lowry, and he's a great young player, but man, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be a saving grace this year.
No,
unfortunately,
I don't think so either.
I think you guys are going to hate the Jimmy Butler contract by year 3. I don't think Bam is gonna develop like you think he's gonna develop. Like I think the Miami Heat are in trouble in the future.
We put all our eggs into a basket of wanting to win a championship that we're not going to win right now, and we have no draft picks. All our young guys are.
Do you know what you've
now.
done? Do you know what you've done? You've done a Lakers 3 years ago. That's what you've done.
That's very true.
I don't think Miami's had like a good draft pick or a draft pick at all since like I can't think of the last time we had a good draft pick period. Michael Beasley, and he wasn't even a good draft pick.
No, he wasn't.
You guys are good at developing mid-round talent, though.
Yeah.
Except
for Shabazz Napier.
Oh, that was a LeBron thing. That was all LeBron.
Yeah, of course it was. You know, LeBron likes to have his friends around him. You know, he's not happy if he hasn't got his friends around him, and it seems that that's the case everywhere he goes. Like
you're not wrong.
I think that's why we've got, you know, we're filling the cemetery up at the moment here in Los Angeles. So, you know,
well, how do you feel about Milwaukee winning the championship?
I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. You know what? Look, I always think it's cool to see teams like that come through. You know, they've got a strong defense, and you know, clearly offensively they can get it done as well. It's going to be interesting to see what happens this season with them, though. I am very interested to see how Celtics do, though. How do you feel?
I feel we're in the same boat as Miami. I don't think we did anything to get better. I don't know. I just feel we're relying on a lot of our young guys developing and getting better, and I'm not sure if they're actually going to develop and get better. Like outside of Jason Tatum, I think Jason Tatum's going to be a superstar this year, but
he just seems like he's been around forever, man. Like, and he's so consistent every season, but you know, he doesn't. I think for the last year or two, he's not really had the support he needs. You know.
Yeah, outside of Jaylen Brown, it's like who's there? Marcus Smart taking a bad shot every other shot.
Yeah, for sure.
I would be the tallest center on the Celtics. Like they can't. They don't know how to get a center taller than 6'8". I don't know, man. We'll see. Or Brad Stevens is now our GM, moving from the head coaching spot to the GM spot. So we'll see.
Gone are the days of Kevin Garnett, bro.
For real.
Yeah.
We fleeced Brooklyn, and then the moment those picks end up being good players, they just go get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and James Harden. like jokes on Boston for real.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like I'm in. Right, where do you think the Lakers are going to end up this season?
If they're healthy, the championship. Like they're not going to lose in the championship, I think, but I think if they're healthy, they're the best roster in the West. They're old.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So they got to be healthy. Got to be healthy.
This is what I mean, man. Look, you know, by no means do I think we won't have a good season. I just wonder, with how packed the season is, by the end of it, will we still have the energy and the legs? You know, we've got 2 35-year-olds on the first team right now. Like, you know, and we keep signing them. So
I think this is at 36 years old. I think this is LeBron James's last year to be the man.
Yeah,
and win the Lakers a championship.
I
think so too. Yeah,
I think the successful strategy of winning a championship is AD needs to step up and be the man. Westbrook needs to go get his triple-double. And then LeBron needs to be the closer. LeBron needs when shit hits the fan, LeBron needs the ball.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And look, you know, Westbrook is a good feeder, so LeBron needs to play on that all day.
Yep, I agree 100%.
And LeBron is the one that dictates everything on that court. So, you know, if he can get the best out of these guys at their age, look, there's nothing stopping us.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, it's going to be an interesting season for all three of us, I think. Yeah. You know? We'll be having this conversation in a year's time, guys. And, you know, it'll be hilarious if all three of us have just not even made the playoffs.
Oh, my goodness.
It's not it's not the most unrealistic thing I've heard.
Absolutely. No. I think we will get to the championships. I think towards the end of the season, I think we'll be doing it the hard way.
Yeah.
All right, so final question here. It's going to be the same final question I asked last time you were on the show. What is next for Simon Hill?
Oh, man, there's so much, dude. This kind of goes back to the start of the interview, which is kind of nice. I am in such a good place right now, not just physically and mentally, but professionally as well. I have just come off this incredible journey in Poland working for one of the biggest esports organizations in the world, and I have made sure that I've capitalized on that. I've built brand new showreel, brand new content to be posted and seen and showcased. So I am talking to people. There could be opportunities in the future where I could go back to Poland again. And I'm also working with a lot more promotions in professional wrestling. TNT Extreme Wrestling still doing amazing things over here. There could be more opportunities there for me. And OPW, just from last night alone, they really have their shit together. They are going to explode. By the end of this year, everyone in this country will know who that promotion is. And I am so excited to be a part of that. To top all that off, look, I'm exploring new avenues on moving back to London. I had to move north during the pandemic for, certain reasons. But now I'm looking to move back south, back to London, back to the capital where the work is, where my professional career really did take off. And I'm just going to keep exploring, keep connecting, keep networking, keep speaking to people like yourself and, having fun doing what I'm doing at any given opportunity.
Josiah, you got anything else before we wrap this up here?
No, I'm good. I love that ending, honestly.
It wasn't scripted. It was from the heart, man.
I'll say when this pandemic slows down, me and Hoss got to get out to do a heat check in the UK.
You go do it, man. You get out here. You let me know, and we'll hook it up.
Awesome,
sure, man. Well, it was nice hearing from you again. I'm super glad to hear you're doing well. It's always nice to have these checkups with the people that we've had on originally, and honestly, your first interview was one of our favorite episodes we had ever. So having you on again, it's super dope, super awesome to hear all the things that you've been doing.
I really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be back on with you guys. I said to you last time, and do you know what? I'm going to repeat something that I repeated off air after our first interview. You guys do what you do so well. You don't give yourself enough credit. You're incredible at what you do. So keep doing it. I really want to see you guys blow up. And, I think you've got a big future ahead of you. So thank you so much for taking the time to have me as a part of this.
Thank you, man. We really appreciate that, man. Absolutely.
Do you want to promote all your socials and everything real quick before I wrap this up?
Absolutely. So at Simon H Official on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Keep It Locked Pod is on any streaming platform you use, whether that's Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, whatever it might be. Keep It Locked with Simon Hill is on there. Loads of cool interviews. Relaunching in a week's time. I had to take 5 or 6 weeks off due to the journey that I had in Poland. But coming back and already got some great guests lined up that I can't wait to share with you guys. And that's pretty much me. That's everything. You can grab the official Simon Hill Keep It Locked merch at Wrestle Merch Central. Everything from joggers, tees, hoodies, beanies, and everything in between. So that's me in a nutshell.
All right. Well, also, you can go follow me on Instagram, AC Knowlting. Follow Josiah. Oh, well, there we go.
At JOSYH_11. Oh, no, JOSYH_HOWARD11. Bam. That's Instagram, boy.
Also, next Sunday, live right here at twitch.tv/official heat check. Tune in. Heat Check, the championship series, is brought to you by Raise Energy, the only zero crash crowdsource energy drink. That's Raise Energy. Head on over to repsports.com/products/Raise Energy. Use discount code HEATCHECK. Get 15% off things like the sweet rainbow flavor that I just had here. I endorse it. It was a great product. Tune in for the championship series next week, the finale of Superstar SmackDown 5, as Usher battles it out with Lil Uzi Vert in the championship match. Follow the Heat Check on Instagram at the official Heat Check. Same thing on TikTok. And yeah, follow us on the Heat Check Network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And I think that's everything. Oh, buy our merch, spreadshirt.com/official Heat Check. We got the Heat Check logo t-shirt and the Got Lotion t-shirt, so go buy those. That's going to do it for this week's episode of the Heat Check. Thank you again, Simon, for hanging out with us. It was super awesome hearing from you again.
It's a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me.
And remember, kids, stay in school. Ladies, keep doing you. Gentlemen, keep your sticks on the ice. And that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Heat Check. Thank you all for tuning in. Peace.